There we go. Starting recording. It's all on camera now.
Hello.
Wahaha. So welcome to Not the Brightest Crayon. I will never change that name. That name is, I want to say, about 8 years old. And before I got banned from Twitter, it was voted on inside my group chat. It was literally a 4-day vote to get that name. Because before it was just the basic, like my name, which was boring. Because, whatever, it's my name. So I was like,
Well,
hey,
you've
I'm gonna
been doing
change
it
it.
for a long time.
What's up? Yeah. And I haven't gotten anywhere. That's the funny part. I've been on social media, Jesus, uh 17 years. For a long time now, and I haven't gotten anywhere. It's okay though, I don't care.
But the podcast too, you've been doing it for a long time?
Oh god, no. To the contest to have the channel name was lasted for 4 days. But
Okay.
that was 8 years ago. So
Okay.
that's but the I haven't actually been on this channel for about 3. So yours is the third interview. See, this is how I knew that Zoom didn't pick up sound with screen recording, is because I was on here for 93 minutes with a really cool friend of mine from TikTok, just like you. We had this amazing conversation, and then I went to listen to the video to check the audio, and there was no sound. A 93-minute video, all it did was record the screen. So you see our lips moving, but there's no sound.
That sucks.
Son of a bitch. So yeah, that's why I'm late getting to this one, because I wanted to make sure we weren't going to waste our time.
Yeah. Wow, that sucks.
It does. So how you been? This is actually the first time I've seen you off of TikTok.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I haven't really been on TikTok that much. I'm pregnant, so like, yeah, things are changing. I have a wedding this weekend, even though I'm already married, but because my husband is Indian and because of COVID, like we only got married in the courthouse.
Yeah.
And in their culture, like there has to be the temple wedding before we can announce the pregnancy to the rest of the family. So like his mom is like really intense. She rushed to plan this huge thing. Like now so it's like this weekend.
Yeah.
It's like for 3 days we have to do all this stuff. It's really intense. But then
Yeah, like you
after
have to do it now. Yeah.
I have no choice now because otherwise we're like bringing shame upon everyone. It's kind of like I don't really understand it, but I'm just gonna go along with it.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
why not?
Well, I mean, I don't feel like I don't have much say in what's going on. Like she'll be like, "Which one do you like?" And then I'll say like this one, and then she'll be like, "But no, this one." Like, so I'm
The
like,
don't ask,
"So
right?
it
The
doesn't
don't
matter what I
ask
want.
me,
Like just do this.
right? The don't ask me. Go. They're home. Ugh. Yes, dear. What? Yeah, go. My son's been grounded for about 6 weeks, and today I finally said fuck it and lifted him out of it.
What's
Um, because it's not. I mean, he's 11, but he doesn't know boundaries. He's learning a lot. A lot of stuff is being poured into his head, and boundaries is not one of them. So whenever he was playing with his younger sister, he'd be like putting his hands on her, and I'm trying to teach him boundaries. Like, you don't just walk up and put your hands on people. It requires permission first, and he just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. And I was like, fine, you're done. And I mean, excuse me, they don't they don't have any electronics. Like, grounding them is very tricky because they don't have a whole lot to take away. We they don't
like
have. What's up?
how can they have no electronics like in this world?
We're raising them without it. My
Isn't
14-year
that
old daughter. It is very difficult
because
because
they
they're
want it?
friends at school.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like that's what I think about. Like how can you like I would like to not. I don't think kids should have electronics either, but I feel like it would be so hard to enforce. Like everybody has it except you. Like I don't know how you do that.
It's I mean, it's tricky, but like I said, my oldest daughter's 14. She doesn't even have a cell phone. And the only computer in this house is my work computer that I use for work. No one else touches it. And then they don't have their own individual computers. They don't have phones. They don't have game consoles, nothing. They have zero. They have actual toys and they have books and they have shit to write on and color with and build. And they get TV once a week.
I mean,
That's if, yeah.
that's better really in the end for them. It must be hard, like, to entertain them all the time.
Well, there's 4 of
TV
them.
only
They
once a
entertain
week?
each other. What's up?
TV only once a week?
Mhm.
That's so, I can't imagine enforcing that. You probably have, like, you live somewhere where there's like actual things to do outside and stuff, maybe, like, I don't know.
Yeah, we live in Florida. I mean, they can go outside all the time.
I don't know
They
why I'm Canadian. I don't
I
know
don't know.
why.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm I'm multifaceted. I've lived everywhere, so I go somewhere and I adjust pretty quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, it hasn't been easy, but the way I figure it, they get all of their phone usage from their friends at school, and they work on computers at school now. That's how they do all their math and all that is on a computer. So
They
they
don't
get all
have
of it
a
at
laptop
school.
for school?
Huh?
Like the older one, like she's 14, she doesn't need to have a laptop for school.
No, they provide it. It's in the classroom.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
good then.
Mhm. So what I told them is you get all of it at school. You're not coming home with it. You're gonna come home and take a break from it.
But maybe
That's
like one thing that I feel like that I like about the cell phone is that you can track them. Like you can like know where they are. Like
what
without that, how do you track them?
um my kids are a lot like me. They don't like people and they never go anywhere. So it's not really that difficult. So like they have their friends at school, kind of like I had my friends at work, and then they go home and that's it. And then they see them again tomorrow. Like unfortunately they're a lot like me. So I would like them to be more friendly, but they're you know they had me as a dad. So and it really like I didn't have to be that strict. I didn't have to yell at them or nothing. I didn't have to be that strict. I just said, look, you're not getting this, so don't ask. And they didn't. It's
Wow.
yeah.
I guess it's like it's all about like they take your words seriously. So like if you back down on some things, then they're gonna think they could push on other things, like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean exactly. Yeah, yeah. Like again, I don't it's not a use or abuse thing. I've never lied to my children. Like we didn't even raise them to believe in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny as being real. We raised them to believe in the holidays, believe it in your heart. But we were never like, "Oh, let's go see Santa." Like, no, Santa's a dude dressed up in a Santa costume. We
It is
never
a
raised them
lie. It's
with
a
that.
big lie.
It is. And like it gives them something to believe in and it gives them something to enjoy, but they enjoy the idea of Santa here, not the physical being of Santa. Like I've never been like, "Oh, Santa's going to put your stuff under the tree." I'm always like, "No, get out. We're wrapping your presents." Like we didn't lie from them to them from the beginning. So it's very easy for them to trust me when I tell them you're not getting a cell phone.
But do you warn them not to tell other children? Like,
No, no, because I mean, like my youngest daughter is 7, and we call her Barbara Walters because she's in everyone's business anyway. And I'm sure there's already 7-year-olds at school that came up to her and was like, "Hey, did you hear Santa's not real?" And she's going, "Who?" So I was never worried about my children being that asshole in class that told everyone Santa wasn't real. Because I always figured they wouldn't have that, "Oh, hey, by the way, my parents told me they're not real." Like they wouldn't have that drive to go tell other people because we didn't have to sit them down and say, "Hey, by the way." So they wouldn't have that impulse to go and spread the word. Just others would come up to them and they'd be like, "Yeah, I knew that. Who are you talking about?" I was
Wow.
never really worried. I was never really worried.
I don't know what I'm gonna do about all those things. It's I'm like, wow, that's so much things like to decide, really.
Well, what's the tradition on your husband's side of the family? I mean, are they huge into the holidays? Because that might be the direction you go.
They don't celebrate. They're Hindus, so
Okay.
but like my family does celebrate the holidays. Not hugely, but um yeah. I mean, like, because I believed in Santa until this little Jehovah Witness girl told me like, there's no Santa, there's no Easter, there's no nothing, and she like I was crying, but then I pretended to keep believing in it for like 3 more years because I realized like my dad would eat like it was cute what he did, like he would like get this like back then gel pens were kind of like
Oh,
cool,
I miss gel pens.
like they still exist, but nobody cares about them anymore. But like at that
Yeah.
time, like a gold gel pen, it looked so magical, the writing. And he would sign like Santa and everything and leave the note to say thank you for the milk and everything. So I didn't I felt sorry for him to like tell him I knew it wasn't real. So I would just let him keep doing it for a few years. But yeah. It was kind of traumatic though when those kids told me that.
Yeah. They came up and just destroyed your whole world, huh?
Yeah, they were like, you fool. Like yeah.
Like, oh hey, Santa's not real. You want to join our church? Like, how is that a selling point? They're gonna
No,
make you cry, and they'd be like, they were your neighbors.
yeah. They were kids, like most of them, but like they would like I would go to their house because their mom made better lunches than my family. So I would hang out with them and then like she would make like really good sandwiches and then yeah, that's what happened.
Yep, I remember there were a few times um, that I'd refuse to eat my mom's food. I made her think that I ate it, but really, it's bad when you prefer school food
Yeah.
over what your parents cook. Um, but that's like I would bring her food with me to school and then just dump it into the nearest trash can and then just eat at school.
Me too. My grandmother, like like I lived with my grandmother and it was just so bad. Like there was so many things I hated because of her. Like she would just make like a boiled potato with no salt, nothing, just like a boiled potato, just like that. And like meat that would be like everything was just so disgusting. And then these like soggy bread sandwiches. It was really horrible. And she was
So
someone that would be like, you have to eat what's in front of you. Like you're not leaving the table if you don't eat it.
yeah, I don't. That's also a weird position. That I mean, like as a baby to toddler, okay, but when they get to the point where they can feed themselves and they start getting their own little style on what they like to eat and their taste buds start to, it's it's a decision that you have to make and you have to stick with it. So like I've people always say that I'm a really good dad, and to be perfectly honest, that compliment kind of bothers me because I know how I am. I can be a good dad, and then I can also be an asshole when it's necessary. And when it's necessary is when my son or myself or my wife spend an hour or two in the kitchen getting dinner together, and then one of the kids at the table says they don't like it, and I'm like, then go hungry. But and I stick to it because the if you don't stick to your word, they're always going to think they can change your mind. So it's a really slippery slope. It really is.
Is your wife good at that too?
Yes, she's better at it than I am.
Really? See, I
I
don't know
love
that. I don't know.
yeah, I love my wife to death, but she is a way bigger prick than I could ever be.
I think, see, I don't know. Like, I have a lot of things to work on, like, before this baby can understand what's going on around him. Because, like,
Yeah.
I'm like a really controlling freak. And sometimes, like, I'll like manipulate people or like I'll like make you feel guilty for not liking something. Like, I'll manipulate it so that you
Yeah.
feel sorry for me, so that now instead of just getting mad, I'll make you feel like really bad about not liking it, that now you, which I don't want to do. I don't want to like manipulate my baby.
Yeah, you save that for your husband.
I don't want to do it to him any either, but it just happens a lot.
Yeah.
Like I catch myself doing it and I'm like, oh, see, it's like certain things like, oh, like last year, like all those TikTok videos I was seeing. It's funny how much I learn off TikTok, but it was like about like gaslighting. Gaslighting is so bad. It's so bad. Like these people are gaslighted. And I started being like, fuck man, like I kind of gaslight sometimes. Like I'm a monster. Like and
Right? Like do that all the time. Yeah.
I don't mean to though, but once like now that I started like when I do it, now I'm aware of it after. I'm like, oh, did you see what just happened? I just gaslight you. Like you should have caught that. Like you should have caught that. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, like the background here is interesting because the older three I had prior to my wife now even coming into the picture. And 9 years later I still call her insane because she had no responsibilities whatsoever. She was just a single individual person, and she walked into a situation where there were already three children. And then and I didn't force it on her. Like when she walked through the door, I wasn't like, "Hey, this is my new girlfriend. This is your new mom." Like I didn't do that. I introduced her to the children as her name. Said, "Hey, this is Jenna."
yeah, you can't do
And
that.
then and then I let the kids decide when the switch happened. Like the kids made the switch. It was Jenna, then it was Jenna and mom, and now it's just mom. They even went into the fourth area where they said, "This is my mom, Jenna." So they crossed into a fourth one that I wasn't even expecting. Now they introduce her as mom and then her name. So they
Hmm.
went to step 4 that I wasn't even planning on. But yeah, I still call her insane for that. She walked in with nothing into a like a zoo and just made it her own. And now we have as many animals in this damn house as we do people. It just keeps growing. It just keeps growing.
That's nice.
It's
But she's that takes like serious strength and confidence, you know.
Oh my god. I and you know what? I wouldn't have done it. Like
I
she's so that's why I say she's so much stronger than me because if the situation were reversed,
let me
you're
be there.
cool. Yeah, like you're a cool person, but I'm good. If I were her age, which was cuz I had my first child when I was 19. I started young. And I knew I was going to because I'm just that kind. When I was 16 in high school, I said I'm either going to have a small army of children or I'm going to have none because I'm a polar extreme kind of person. I either go all or none. There's no middle ground with me. And when I was 19, she was born. But if I was 23, like Jenna was, and she was 25, like I was, and I found out she had 3 kids, I would have said peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's so much stronger than I am. Bigger asshole, but way stronger.
Well, yeah, usually they go together. So
Mm. Have you always lived in Canada?
yeah, I've
Where'd
never
you
lived
grow up?
Montreal.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never been anywhere else. I haven't traveled yet or anything.
Like you haven't traveled outside the country? Have you
Yeah,
traveled within the country?
yeah, within the country, not even fully, but yeah, within the country, but not outside the country yet.
Where
With
what is your ultimate destination? Where do you want to go?
That's a hard question. Like I'm not a decisive person. Like I can't pick one. I'd have to say like Australia and England for some reason. I don't know why. I just want to go there.
Yeah.
And then anywhere tropical. Oh, and Greece and Italy.
Yeah.
Just like nice places with good food, you know,
Yeah.
and sun. So I don't
Yeah.
have like a specific one place that I'm dreaming to go, but I just want to travel, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I never used to think I ever would because I was kind of like a mess most of my life who like didn't do taxes for a decade. Like I was just really off of the grid for a long time, so I didn't expect to ever travel. But now I'm like, yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, we are supposed to go to India in January, but
Nice.
I don't know. I can't promise because there's like for his brother's wedding, but like what? Like the baby is due in August. Like it just seems it seems like I don't know if that's possible.
It's really fast. Yeah.
I might like if in this it's impossible to make that decision. Like for sure they all have to go, but if let's say the baby was perfect and he never cried and he was a calm baby and there was no COVID and the doctor said it was a fine idea, then like yeah, I would do it. But it's a long trip, you know. And I feel like imagine you're that person on a plane for all those hours with a screaming baby. Like I might get murdered. I don't know.
Yeah. And you can't give a baby sleep medicine.
I know.
Yeah. So like that's the benefit of having 'cause, like my 12-year-old is nonverbal autistic, but she's when she gets excited or scared, she's one of the loudest people you'll ever meet because she don't talk, she squeals. So it's like a mouse when it's scared is kind of the best way to describe her. When she's happy and running around, my neighbor said she sounds like a puppy. They thought that we had a puppy, but this was before we had dogs. I was like, no, that's my daughter. So she has happy screams is what I call them. She talks to her hands and she goes beep 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 beep. And she when she's squealing, she sounds like a dog. But taking her on a plane, I'm at the benefit now where she's 12, where I can go, oh, here's a sleeping pill,
Yeah.
and just put her out for the whole time.
Cause
But yeah,
she would be scared probably, right? She would
it wouldn't be necessarily scared. She doesn't like things that she doesn't know.
yeah.
So school is the perfect example. When they have vacations for 10 days, she doesn't like it. She's a very routine. Autism is a very routine based diagnosis. So she knows I get up in the morning, I get ready for school, I go to school, I see these people, I do this stuff, I go home, I take my shower, and then I hang out with my siblings, and then I eat dinner and I go to bed. That's her routine.
Hmm.
So on vacation, she gets up and no one's getting ready for school. So she's like,
Yeah.
what the hell's going on? So taking her on a plane, not only the pressure in her ears, being around a bunch of people she's never seen, and a cramped coach seat, it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So
I've
yeah,
never I don't even know what it feels like.
you've never flown on a
I'm
plane?
terrified to fly. I'm actually terrified.
It's one of the safest ways to travel.
It's not that, like I'm not yeah. It's just that like sometimes I would say I'm afraid of heights, but then it's not really heights because I could be on like a really high mountain and looking down and I'm okay. Or a better example is like a water slide. Like I can go on a high water slide because I'm the one moving and the slide is still. I'm the
Yeah,
one walking the mountain is still. But when I'm up high and the object I'm on is moving, that is different. So that's like a roller coaster. Like I can't do these things. Like I freak out. It's something about like it's okay if what I'm on is solid, but if what I'm on is moving, I it's like a feeling I don't like. But
yeah, I got you.
I have,
It's that, the ground is coming out from under my feet feeling. I know
it's
what
like
that's
you
like.
have no control anymore. Like
Yeah,
that's it. I don't like that. I like being in control of everything.
right. You must hate roller coasters.
I do. I've done it once. Well, actually, I did it twice because someone convinced me to do it a second time, and I was like shaking and crying, and it was just horrible.
I have to piss off my cat. Come on, bub. You gotta move. Get out of my chair. This is my this is my chair. This is where I work. I'll show you actually. This is where I work. Well, actually, if can I even flip my camera? I don't even know if Skype allows you to flip your damn camera.
Yeah, it
Because I
does. I did
don't.
it before. It's on the top next to where it says meeting.
But which side? Is it
Like touch
that
the
tic tac?
screen.
Is it that tic tac toe looking thing?
No, right beside it.
Nope. That just tells me where my noise is coming from.
Oh,
Yeah, I
me.
don't have that.
Oh,
I don't know. Whatever. But yeah. Okay, so let me just do this. So this is where I get to work. I turn that on. Phone calls. I turn that TV on in between phone calls, and I'll turn a movie on, or like when it was football, I'd watch a game, and I'll sit right here on my chair, and my laptop is right here. And when I'm taking a call, I turn it down, and when I'm not taking a call, I turn it up.
Yeah. The same
Yeah.
thing. This is where I work. I don't we used to work in an actual office, but since COVID we've been at home, and now they're saying like we seem good, we don't need to go back ever. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of it was adapting. Hang on one sec. A lot of it was adapting to the new situation. A lot of mom and pop businesses went out because they couldn't adapt, and then a lot of the big name ones were like, okay, we're just going to let everyone work at home. And I actually I have a lot of friends that went to the work from home thing, and then their company, when everything was over and lifted, they were like, okay, come back to the office. And my friends were like, fuck you, we're not going back. Like, you're not going to make us go back. Like, because they were at home for, I mean, how long? 8 months.
yeah.
They were like, oh, everyone's going to stay inside for 2 months, and then everyone can go back out. And then the 2 months just lengthened and lengthened and lengthened, and then it's like 8 months later they're going, oh, come back to the office. No, no, are you kidding me? Hell no.
I wouldn't
Absolutely
mind.
not.
Like I don't know. I like it. Like in the end, if I did have to go back, I'd probably complain because like there's a lot of reasons why home is better, but it does kind of like I wouldn't mind like going like twice a week. I wouldn't mind.
Just to get out of the house.
Yeah, because I feel like especially in the winter, well, you don't have like winter like here, but here
No.
right now it's been winter since like end of October, okay? Like
Yeah.
it's still winter. It's like -20 outside, like it's like snow. Um you don't really do anything like at least in the summer you can do things after work or whatever, but right now like the only outing I do is like going to the mall.
Yeah.
And so I'm buying outfits to wear to go buy more outfits.
Yeah.
And I have no life. Like it's
It's all right. No, listen, I haven't always lived in Florida. I've only been here. April will be 5 years. I used to live 2 hours from the border of Canada, so I
yeah,
know what winter. I know what
you
winter
got
is.
winter, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just long. Like it's not like it's like officially winter is like mid-December to I think this month. I think. Yeah, this month is supposed to be spring, but really it's not. It's a lot longer. It starts earlier and it ends later. So
What's the it gets? Yeah. Like,
your
what
voice.
is your? My voice is cutting out.
No, it's okay now. It did though. I didn't hear your question.
What's the hottest it gets where you're at? Like, what's your summer?
We get really hot heat waves. Like plus, well, I don't know Fahrenheit. So like
That's okay. I know the conversion. I work with
okay. So
all
like
that.
plus 35 Celsius.
Okay.
Yeah, it gets well here it's very, very humid. It can be horrible, but I still like it. I still like it better than the winter.
Yeah. Yep. Ours gets right up there.
It's humid too there, right?
For what?
It's humid where you are, right?
Um, Not as much as you would think. I mean,
Okay.
we do get humidity in Florida, but it's certain areas. Like where I'm at, we don't have a whole lot of water near
Oh,
us, and we don't have a whole lot of swampland near us, so there's not a whole lot of humidity. And the rain is mostly in the winter season, so that nature can get ready for the summer, because it gets really hot here. But summer is mainly just high heat, direct sunlight, dry. Yeah, I mean, the main wet and humid is in the winter time. So I
what's
guess it.
winter to you? Like
Oh dear God. Like I think the coldest it ever got here during the winter time was about 1 degree over freezing, and that was at 4 o'clock in the morning when no one was even outside. So, yeah,
So that's, I mean, yeah, it's cold if you're not used to it. Like I
yeah,
find after the summer when the first cold weather starts to come, like that temperature would feel cold to me. But like if I had that temperature right now, like after the whole winter, now it would feel like really nice. Like
yeah,
I
you'd be
wouldn't,
outside in shorts.
well, because like compared, like it feels cold at the beginning, but like now it would be nice. We're having some days like that, but yeah.
And, for the conversion from Celsius to Fahrenheit, I think it's like, what, 1.5 or something,
Yeah, I
I
just
think.
Google. I'm
So what,
reliant on Google too much. Like,
like 35 Celsius is what, 60, 70 degrees for Fahrenheit? Something like that.
let me
And
look.
it's not bad to be reliant on Google. I'm always reliant on Google. But I think the conversion is like 1.5 to 2. I'm actually kind of,
5 degrees, 35 Celsius is 95 Fahrenheit.
holy wow, I was way off. Okay, so it's like yeah, it's like a third. Yeah, yeah, it's like multiplying it by 3, sort of, or 2.5, something up there,
Yeah, I don't know. I see an equation. I don't understand it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So like, okay, yeah. So it's 35 to 95. Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't
I
know.
mean, it's never
I
like summer like that forever, the whole summer, but like we could get like some pretty serious heat waves. Like, and I don't have an air conditioner either, but
Yeah,
I live in the basement, so I'm like, it's bearable. Apparently, people are telling me though, like you're gonna suffer this summer because apparently when you're like, I'm gonna be my biggest in the summer, and
yeah,
apparently it's really hard in the heat.
yeah. And again, I've never been pregnant, so I mean that's probably obvious, but I know my wife was pregnant through the winter and the summer because we had our baby, our youngest was born in August, so she actually had a winter pregnancy, but
Yeah,
the hardest part of it was in the summer.
that's
So
exactly me too.
yeah,
August,
yeah. So
same.
I don't know what part is worse.
I think that's worse.
The heat is probably worse.
Yeah, that's what they say. Like my sister was saying, like most people, she's like, you have to resist the urge to cut off all your hair. She's like, a lot of
Yeah,
women do it and then they cry about it later, like wishing they didn't. And I'm
yeah.
like, I'll try. It's hard
Well,
too because I'm very impulsive. I might be like, I'm gonna do it, and then
well,
oh shit.
here's a tip that um try, but it'll be less. And it's something that I did for my wife. And believe me, I didn't want to because it felt really weird. But just the back part of your head. So you lift the shell and you put it into a bun up here and you just shave the back part. And that keeps it off your neck. And then the impulse to shave the rest of it lowers very much because you get all the air back here. And there's nothing dangling down here when it's sweaty and
This is not a bad idea. I did this when I was like 20 or something, but I didn't do it professionally. Like it was really ugly how I did it. It was really crooked. But
yeah.
actually getting someone who can see back there to do it, that's actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah. And it was weird the first time, and now I'm like, all right, let's do it. I have this might go kind of left field, but I'll describe it anyway. So my wife preps for a shower because she's gonna have to shower, and then I've got my hand on the back of her neck, and she's bent over the sink, and I'm using my clippers on the back of her head. It was a really weird feeling because it was like one of those, well, I'm shaving her head, so there's nothing sexual about this, but I'm still a dude shaving my wife's head. So it was a very weird feeling at first because like I shaved my son's head, but he's another boy. Now I'm like, fine, fuck it. She's like, hey, can you shave my head? Sure. But the first time it was a very strange feeling to go through. Um, and now she won't. now she doesn't do it. She's growing her hair back out, and she complains that it's too hot. We're going into like the heat wave of Florida, and I'm like, you want me to cut your hair? Like you, she had me do it through the winter time and not during the spring or it's strange. She
It
has a
sucks
very
when you're
back.
growing out though.
What's up?
It sucks when you're growing it out because then it's not even with the rest of it. And
Yeah, yeah, like she has to put it up for work, and then you can see that it kind of looks like crap back there. But the I don't I don't pull any punches from her either. So we're let's just put it this way: the way each other, um, I've been told by other married women that I wouldn't live to the next day if I said that stuff to them. But she gives it back. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like we take pot shots at each other. But the way we talk to each other, especially out in public, makes people's eyebrows go up and their eyes get big, but we're just playing around with each other. Like sometimes we'll do it just to get reactions from people. Because so one of the perfect examples was my wife comes out of the bedroom. We're going on a double date, and I hate double dates. So the other married couple is here waiting. She comes out of the bedroom and she goes, "Hey, how do I look?" I said, "Well, you look like shit. Go change." And I was partially joking. I was partially being serious. The only thing I wanted her to change was the pants, but I wanted to gauge the other couple's reaction.
he would never. My husband would never. He lied, so it makes me not trust what he's saying. Like when he, like I don't trust that he's giving me the truth about things like that because he
Yeah,
will never say like I know sometimes like I mean I know I'm like I gained 15 pounds like since last year like I'm like I'm aware of this like it's he's like no you didn't you're so skinny I'm like but like I now how can I trust anything you say like because
yeah,
you're lying like this is not about like opinion this is fact like
yeah,
this is a fact you can't have a different view of a fact
yeah.
so but at the same time like I prefer that like
Right?
yeah
Yeah, yeah, it's a unique thing. I'm very very lucky because I've never been the type. I don't my saying when I well not invented. That's kind of like a fucking swollen head thing. But when I was 11, I started saying, if you're brave enough to ask the question, be prepared to hear the answer. And for the last 23 years, I've honored that in every way, shape, or form. So she
yeah
comes
your
out and she
wife
said,
is not like she's like special
"Yeah,
because like I mean I don't like to generalize but I do generalize so I guess I do like to generalize but like cause but like most maybe not most anyway like women that I know they don't really want the truth
yeah."
like
She gets it whether she wants it or not. That's kind of the thing. So I think in the 9 years we've been married, she's gotten used to it. I mean, the very first thing that I ever said to her, I didn't know her name. Um, I knew that there was something special about her. There was something that I wanted to get to know her. And she was with a guy who was a complete fuckwad. So when he left the room, I approached her and I didn't introduce myself. I just said, "Hey, if you ever want to know what it's like to be treated as a person instead of an object, come find me." That was the first thing I ever said to her. So right out of the gate, I'm not sugarcoating. I'm telling her how it is. So
and did
when
it already she already like went for
yeah,
it right
no, 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 no. We were actually really good friends for 3 years before we even got together. So we had very like long thought out conversations. I gave her the shoulder to cry on when she needed it. And I waited for her, and at the same like I'm not gonna say that I didn't get with others while I was waiting. Like she got with others while I was waiting. So I mean it wasn't that like I held out like Forrest Gump the whole time. But I was actually with a girl, very serious, thankfully. Like I wasn't gearing up to get married like those weird like those stupid fucking, romantic comedies that you see. But I was with a girl, and then Jenna called me up, and the first thing out of her mouth was, "Hey," and this was 3 years into our friendship. She calls me up and she says, "Hey, when are you gonna get rid of your girlfriend?" I was like, well, do you want to replace her? Why you're asking? And she said, maybe. And I was like, if I'm going to call up this girl and break her heart, it better be more than a fucking maybe. And that's how we actually began our relationship. I called the girl up that I was dating and said, sorry, the love of my life just called. And I hung up the phone. And
Aw.
that's how her and I started dating. But we, from the very beginning, there was no lies, there was no pulling punches. I mean, back and forth. She gives it to me too. But there was no sugarcoating anything from either of us toward each other the whole time. So she's very used to my answers that should have gotten me buried in the backyard years ago. Those kinds of answers. Because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when I told her you look like shit, go change, I was actually talking about her pants because I knew there was a better pair that looked better on her, and her hair was like Medusa. But the husband, his reaction was exactly why I said it. Eyes wide, mouth dropped, like, and I'm just sitting there all confident, like, hey, what are we gonna go eat? Where are we gonna go? So,
I would have been
but
like,
sure, yeah. Like, look. I know that flavor is not for everybody. I wouldn't walk into someone's house and disrespect them like that. But it's the woman I married, and she prefers it
well, there
because
you go. That matters. Yeah.
like she knows when I'm not being 100% real. When she walks out of the closet in the morning and she puts her hair up for work, and then she comes out and she says, "Hey, does this look good?" If I don't, she knows. She'll deliberately put her hair up and make it look like a mess just to see if I'm gonna pull punches. She
See, me,
tests
like
me
if I
sometimes.
if I do my hair, I obviously think I need reassurance that it looks okay. Like if he told me like it doesn't, like I think I'd punch him in the face. Like I don't know.
But at the same time, you'd be grateful. So like you'd hit him and then you'd say thank you.
Maybe like 3 days later I'd be grateful. But
Right?
it would take me a while to be grateful because I stay mad for a while. So yeah.
Well, look, I can be the friend that you need that won't lie. How's that?
I do like somebody being honest with me, but I wouldn't want it to be my husband, which is a
There
weird
you
thing.
go.
I mean, I want
Yeah,
him to be honest about things that matter, but like,
but not that honest.
yeah, like there's certain
Yeah.
things like I prefer you just tell me what I want to hear about certain things. It's but like be honest in the sense of like don't ever betray me, but like otherwise, yeah.
Hey, look, if there's anything that you ever really need to know, like the
Yeah.
concrete, just get at me. I'll tell
I
you.
will. Like sometimes I'll make supper. Like I experiment sometimes in the kitchen where I shouldn't. Like I just shouldn't. Like something's wrong with me. I can't follow recipes. Like I'll look at a recipe and then I'll just be like, okay, I got the gist of it, and then I'll do my own thing with it. But sometimes it turns out really bad. Like I'm like, what I have this idea of something and it's just disgusting. I can't eat it. I have to throw it out. And he'll be like eating it and I'll be like, is it good? And he'll be like, it's really good. And like, but his face, like,
You can see in the
I'm like,
face, yeah.
I'm like, why are you eating it? Like, throw it out. It's not edible. He's like, no, it's good. Like, he won't say it.
I mean, it does he not waste food?
um, yeah, he does. Well, I don't really see him wasting food.
That might be why. So
Yeah,
good or bad, it doesn't matter. It's food.
he won't throw it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's,
But still, I mean, you can still say, "Hey, this doesn't taste good at all," and eat it. At least you're
yeah.
being honest, but you're still eating it. Like you're honoring the work, but
But
you're
it's like
being
I think
honest.
I have like a history of people like that. Like when I remember like my ex too, he like I forgot to cook the potato. Like the potatoes were like raw in the food and he was eating them and he was like, "No, it's good." I'm like, so I remember that about my ex. So it seems like all my relationships have been like people who are just like afraid of me.
No, I'd be honest with you. I'd get hurt, but I'd be honest with you.
Yeah, because you're all the way in Florida.
No, yeah, I'd be hurt subliminally. I know it. I know that my wife is just saving up for that one good. I've been waiting for it for years. I have, man. I've built up a punch for
At
nearly a
least,
decade.
at least
I've
when it
been
happens,
waiting.
you won't be surprised.
Oh, I won't be surprised at all because she's been saving it. And I know she's saving it for a good time, and I'm waiting. I am just waiting for that one comment that I make where she's just like, "Smack!" Like, yep, all right. I'm not gonna stop, but I've been waiting for it.
Would she
Beautiful.
actually like actually physically smack you?
I don't know, and it's not like a thing, but like she knows that I'm ex-military, so I think she's kind of afraid to hit. Not because I'd hit back. I would never hit her back. Um, I'm not gonna lie. There are some moments where she would deserve every bit of it, but I still wouldn't do it. But I think she's afraid to start something. Like
Yeah.
she'll hit, and then I'll have that flashback that I can't control.
Oh,
So I think there's a little bit of that in there. But I'm not entirely. I don't think she'd be afraid to do it. I think it would just be a smack, and then she'd run like hell.
I
But
feel like now like it's quite frowned upon. Like I'm like, "Ugh," I don't know.
you know,
I
I don't.
I don't usually. It's especially in the last like 2 years. I don't think I've hit anyone in like 2 years.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's not like beyond the realm of possibility that I like snap and like smack someone.
yeah.
But it's quite frowned upon.
Oh, of course it is, and it doesn't matter who does it.
Like people are like, that's it's not accepted in society anymore.
And not
Which I mean,
not
I don't
anymore.
like
No.
to do it. I don't
Yeah.
I don't think it should be accepted, but I feel like, oh, I'm a bad guy.
Hey,
Like,
look. You wanna fight someone? Go get in a boxing ring. They don't care what you do there.
I don't want to fight people. I actually used to do karate for many, many, many years. Um, I was kind of a giant kid. Like I had my growth spurt really young, and I was just like kicking the shit out of everyone all across Canada. And then one day I lost, and I realized I'm a sore loser. Like I was like, I don't want to play anymore. I threw off my helmet and I left. And I'm like, I hate karate now. And I brought shame upon the karate school because like you're supposed to always bow and shake hands after, but I was just so angry that I lost. So I was like, I'm not a good sport. Like I'm only good when I'm the champion, but as soon as I lose,
Yeah.
like, but I did like it until then.
Until I mean, like, but how many times did you win before your first loss? That could have also been a contributing factor.
I don't know the amount of times, but it was like a like probably around 2 years that I just was always winning competitions because
Yeah,
like I mean it wasn't only my size, I was good, but I was like quite bigger than most of the time
yeah.
I was bigger than everybody.
I mean, but that right there, look, I'm not saying I'm not trying to defend it, but like that could have been a contributing factor. That's kind of um like someone in school. Okay, so one person from seventh grade all the way to senior year, they're winning every single talent show because of what they do and who they are. And then that one person senior year comes along and just it's like those stupid high
Yeah.
school movies and they win and then the one that's used to winning goes, "Oh!" Like it's
Yeah.
you get used to winning,
You could get used to
then
losing.
you lose. Yeah, but then all of a sudden you lose. That's why losing is so important.
Yeah.
Losing is so important to the growth of anybody. Rejection and losing is so important because it
It's
teaches you how
that's
to handle it.
a lesson because it's true. Like I feel like even as an adult now, like I don't handle rejection well. Like I've
Yeah,
probably made all my decisions in life to avoid rejection. Like I've gone for jobs like I know I can get that I won't have to like I've never I've done a lot to like avoid the possibility of like rejection and failure.
yeah,
When I well that's not really good. So I don't really take like big risks in things that might end up great, you know? It's
yeah.
a good lesson for children.
It is. It's a very good lesson. Like I don't not participation trophies. We don't do that in this house. So like on the weekends we'll choose a family activity and we have a little bowling set, obviously not a professional one, they're all plastic and the balls are small, but we'll set it up in the hallway and we'll go and I'll say, hey, the winner is going to get a prize, get to choose the prize, either watching something on TV or getting a snack because they don't have a whole lot of sugar either here at the house. There's a lot of things that they're kind of held back from. Kind of weird. We're like a 70s family. It's really weird. But the winner gets it. So like my 14-year-old daughter or my son will just when they're bowling, they'll just beat the hell out of the rest of their siblings. It's those two. It's either my oldest daughter or it's my
They
son.
always get the prize.
They always get the prize. Like my 7-year-old daughter she's small, but she doesn't focus enough on the game to actually win. So the ones that focus are my oldest or my son.
Uh, See, I'd be like, everyone gets a prize, but
Nope.
the winner
Nope.
gets a bigger prize.
Nope. I literally say the winner gets the prize. So like there was one game where my oldest won by 1 point. And the second in line was my 7-year-old. So my son had a really bad night that night. So my oldest won, my 7-year-old was 1 point below, and then it was my son because my autistic daughter doesn't play. She watches, listens to the music, and I do a commentary on a microphone with a speaker because they like me being the announcer for some reason. And it's fun. It helps me participate because I don't do the bowling. But I gave the prize, and my 7-year-old's like, "Well, I almost won." I said, "But you didn't win, so you don't get the prize." So I'm teaching her how to lose. Oh
That's
my,
good.
she was upset, but I did not give in.
Like
That was the
I
point.
agree with it, but I don't think I could do it. Like I can't. Like I would have a way that the winner gets something better, but everybody gets something.
Yeah, it hurt. I'm not gonna lie, it hurt. It's one of those things where like you're trying to act tough, and then you turn around and secretly you're crying. It was tough because she bawled. I was like, I was so close. I was like, you didn't win, darling. I don't know what to tell you. And then my oldest is gloating. Oh, and here's my, and like I can't stop her from gloating. She's got to be proud that she won because it was such a close competition. And at the same time, I can't give in to my youngest crying.
Yeah.
I've got to stay with what we said. Didn't you have to leave at 5?
Yes, I have like 5 minutes still. Yeah.
Okay. My clock must be fast.
No, it's not five. No, it's not five. It is 5:04, but I got a message so that I have like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. I was looking at the time, like, why isn't she telling me she has to leave yet? I've been looking at the clock this whole time. But yeah, it's just you never really know how things are gonna go until you do it. That's probably the scariest part.
It's exciting. I mean, yeah. Like I don't know how I'm gonna be.
Your first?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always
And I'm
with it.
older. Like I waited a long time. When I was like in my 20s, like I didn't think I would have kids because I was too like not stable. But then
Yeah.
like in the last few years, I was like, okay, now I want it, but like I'm worried, like, oh, well, like, is it too late? Like I was like 32 would be a good age to do it. Um, and I don't know how that happens, but somehow this year things are just working out how I want them.
Yeah.
Like 4 months after we started trying, like we got pregnant. So I'm like, yeah, I'm 32 though, like so
It's
it's
not too late.
no,
It's
but it's
not too
probably
late.
I don't know if I would have I don't know if I'll be able to have siblings, like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, the, the best advice that my dad ever gave me that I didn't follow, but like I'm following now because there has been talk of more, and I'm 34 right now. My birthday's in August. The best advice my dad ever gave me was stop at 35. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter how many you have. If you have none, stop at 35 because then if you have one at 35, you're 50 when they're 15. You're still young enough to enjoy them. And if you are going to have multiple, then do it. I mean, it's going to be kind of like
Yeah. Well, I mean, I
multi-shot.
think nowadays people are healthier than I mean, it is like still, yes, you will be older, but people are healthier than they used to be back then. So
Yeah, absolutely.
they say, it really depends. But the another thing is like after the age of 35, for the woman, like there's a lot more risk. There's a
Yeah,
lot higher
you
risk
become
for
high risk.
things. There's so
Yeah,
many, and after 40, that like triples or doubles or something. Like it's like a
yeah,
big jump. But like before 35, like the risks are pretty low, but after that, it's like each year after that, it's like higher for things to go wrong. So
Yeah, that
be dangerous.
yeah. I mean, but that's what I mean. Like if you're planning on having multiple kids, keep them within a year of each other. So like 32, 33, and then stop or have a third at 34, but at 35, don't.
I want to, like, I would like to, like, within a year, but I also, like, I don't know how this will go. Like, so,
Yeah,
I'm kind of
sure.
terrified, like, about birth and all that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So we'll see.
The unfortunate way to look at it is your first child is your experiment. And I know that's difficult to hear, but it's true.
No, it's true. It's true. I have a lot of learning. Like, I've learned a lot from my parents of like what not to do. Like everything I've learned from my family is what not to do, which is not bad. It's still good lessons. It's some.
Yeah.
It could even be better in a way. So I don't know what to do, but I know everything not to do.
Right? But then
Yeah.
again, you're going to make your own decisions and you're going to make your own choices. And then those what not to do's aren't going to be relevant at all.
Hmm.
So it's, yeah, that you can read every book ever published.
I have been.
Pregnancy, what to expect when you're expecting, how to be a good this, how to be a good that. Don't.
I have been
It,
though. Just to like I just want I know that they're gonna not help me like with the important stuff, but there's certain
yeah.
things that I don't know. Like I don't know how much is a baby supposed to eat. What is this? What does it do? How much is too much sleep? What's not enough? Like there's so many
Yeah.
things that I feel like I'm supposed to know. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, get used to 2 hours and then getting up.
I hope that's not true.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
but it might not be. Not every baby.
I think all four of mine had the exact same sleep schedule. So it'd be 2 on. They sleep for 2 hours. You get up, you change them,
So
you feed
I
them.
need 9 hours of sleep straight. I need this, or I get really angry.
Happen. I'm gonna tell you the first 12 months, maybe you're not gonna know what sleep is
Like
anymore.
I could probably go down to 7, but
It's not gonna happen.
well, I figure because my husband, he doesn't need a lot of sleep. So I feel like the night stuff he could deal with more than me.
It depends on how you feed. Are you doing bottle or are you
No,
doing natural?
natural, but can't he buy one of those rubber boobs? And like he said no, but I'll convince him.
You have to be awake for that. You have to be awake to hold the baby.
No, he buys a rubber boob and you can buy a boobs and you wear them and you put the milk in the bottle in the boob so the baby thinks it's a boob.
Oh, like the husband wears it?
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
I said he
I
won't
can't
do it, but I know he will if I keep pushing.
tell him to watch Meet the Fockers.
What's he so embarrassed of? No one's gonna see him. He thinks it will traumatize the baby.
I mean, look, I'm not a professional and I've never read up on it, so I'm not going to give my opinion. There's a chance, but I don't,
It
whatever.
might
I
have
don't.
like hazy memories later down the road. Like
Well, it's also bonding between mom and child.
yeah, which I
It's a
would do all day, but I don't want to
it's a
also do
huge
it at night.
do it at night. Yeah. Um, my my wife was lucky because I already had three. I had already gone through it, so we did that. She woke up after the 2 hours. She did the pumping for 30 minutes, went back to bed, and then I handled everything else. I handled the changing and the feeding. Um, but she did wake up every 2 hours. Every 2 hours. I'm telling you, it's a baby sleeping cycle. Every 2 hours, they need to be changed and fed.
I guess I'll
And
get
that
it. I guess
yeah, that'll
like right
last for
now, kind
about
of
a
as
year.
but I guess it'll just happen.
We were lucky with my youngest because it only went for 7 months and then she started sleeping through the entire night.
Uh,
My other three, it went for 12, 13, 14 months. Yeah. You're not going to remember what sleep is. I
I
promise.
I'm I'm gonna choose to not believe that for now. I'm just gonna choose to not believe that, and then when it happens, I'll just be like, oh, what's happening? Like,
This isn't real. It's not real.
I do have to go now, though.
All right. having you on.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. You cut out again.
Said it was awesome having you
Oh,
on.
yes, it was fun.
Absolutely. I post these every Saturday, so
Where do you post them? Send me
on YouTube.
in your link is in your TikTok bio?
No, that's my merch link, but I can give you the link so you
Yeah,
can save it.
yeah.
Yeah, like save it to the notes on your phone or something. Because every Saturday I put them up so you'll see it, and I don't promote it. I'm not gonna be like, hey, you have to. No, if you want to talk about it on TikTok or share it wherever,
All
I
right.
don't push. Just because you were here, I'm like, like no, that's on you.
All right.
But yeah, I'll get you the link.
All right. Well, have a great evening.
All right, stay safe out there.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Later.